Welcome to our book summary of Factfulness by Anna Rosling, Ola Rosling, and Anna Rosling Rönnlund. This book challenges common misconceptions and biases about the world by providing data-backed evidence of progress in many parts of the world. The authors provide practical advice for combating our instincts and biases, making it a must-read for anyone interested in gaining a more accurate and nuanced understanding of the world we live in. Stay tuned to learn more about the insights and practical advice offered in this eye-opening book. Chapter 1. The Gap Instinct. The book begins by discussing the gap instinct, which is our tendency to divide the world into two categories, the rich West and the poor rest. This instinct is fueled by our tendency to look for patterns and create categories in order to simplify information. However, it leads to a distorted view of the world, where we focus only on the negative aspects and ignore the positive progress that has been made in many parts of the world. The authors provide examples such as the decrease in global poverty, reduction in child mortality rates, and the increase in access to education. Chapter 2. The Negativity Instinct. The negativity instinct is our tendency to focus on the negative aspects of a situation and overlook the positive. The media often plays a role in perpetuating this instinct, as bad news tends to receive more coverage and attention than good news. The authors suggest that in order to combat this instinct, we need to look for the positives and acknowledge progress when it is made. Chapter 3. The Straight Line Instinct. The straight line instinct is the belief that the future will follow a straight line based on current trends. This is often not the case, as many factors can influence the trajectory of progress. The authors give examples such as the decrease in global fertility rates and the increase in global life expectancy, which have not followed a straight line but have had fluctuations over time. Chapter 4. The Fear Instinct. The fear instinct is our tendency to react strongly to perceived threats, even if they are not based on fact. The authors give examples such as the fear of vaccines and the fear of terrorism, which have been fueled by misinformation and ignorance. They suggest that in order to combat the fear instinct, we need to gather and analyze data to make informed decisions. Chapter 5. The Size Instinct. The size instinct is our tendency to underestimate or overestimate the size of a population or group. The authors provide examples such as the misconception that Africa is a country rather than a continent, and the misconception that there are more young people than old people in the world. They suggest that in order to combat this instinct, we need to break down large numbers into more manageable units. Chapter 6. The Generalization Instinct. The generalization instinct is our tendency to make assumptions based on limited information. The authors provide examples such as the assumption that all Muslims are terrorists and the assumption that all Africans are poor. They suggest that in order to combat this instinct, we need to seek out more information and avoid making sweeping generalizations. Chapter 7. The Destiny Instinct. The destiny instinct is the belief that the future is predetermined and cannot be changed. The authors argue that this is not the case, and that progress can be made through education, innovation, and collaboration. They provide examples such as the eradication of smallpox and the decrease in global poverty, which were both achieved through human effort and collaboration. Chapter 8. The Single Perspective Instinct. The single perspective instinct is our tendency to view the world from a single perspective and ignore alternative viewpoints. The authors suggest that in order to combat this instinct, we need to seek out multiple perspectives and challenge our own assumptions. Chapter 9. The Blame Instinct. The blame instinct is our tendency to assign blame to individuals or groups rather than focusing on systemic issues. The authors argue that this instinct can be harmful as it can lead to a lack of accountability for larger systemic issues. For example, blaming individual refugees for the refugee crisis rather than addressing the root causes of conflict and displacement. They suggest that in order to combat the blame instinct, we need to focus on systemic solutions and hold institutions and governments accountable. Chapter 10. The Urgency Instinct. The urgency instinct is our tendency to prioritize immediate problems over long-term issues. The authors argue that this can be problematic as it can lead to neglect of important long-term issues such as climate change, which require urgent action. They suggest that in order to combat the urgency instinct, we need to prioritize both immediate and long-term issues and work towards solutions for both. Overall, Factfulness is a compelling and thought-provoking book that challenges our common misconceptions and biases about the world. The authors provide data-backed evidence of progress in many parts of the world and argue that it is important to acknowledge this progress in order to continue to make positive change. They also provide practical advice for combating our instincts and biases, such as seeking out multiple perspectives and challenging our assumptions. Factfulness is a must-read for anyone interested in gaining a more accurate and nuanced understanding of the world we live in. If you like this summary, then subscribe to my channel, and if you want to purchase this book, check out the link given in description box. Also check out the new designs on our store for unisex t-shirt, hoodie, sweatshirt, etc. I'll see you in the next book summary. Thanks for watching.